guys, welcome back to my math YouTube channel. So let us look at one another example on evaluating the trig function. So guys, here example number 3, which has two parts. We want to figure out the sine of a negative 90 degrees and cosecant of 540 degrees. So guys, keep in mind right now we are not using calculator for this, because if we have a calculator and if we can use a calculator, then it's going to be like just a 1 second thing and we can quickly do it. And there will be a place where we have to use our calculator for this, but right now guys, there's also going to be times when we may not be allowed to use a calculator, or if we want to get answers as ratios, as radicals, then sometimes we have to know how to do them without using a calculator. Guys, it is always good to learn those things, because even if you are taking like a standardized test, or sometimes when you take more advanced classes, there are times when you have to know how to do things without a calculator as well. So let us see how we do this without a calculator. First of all, if we have to figure out sine of negative 90 degrees. So guys, as we have been doing in other examples, the first thing that we like to do here is we like to draw a visual, and we like to draw this in an XY plane. So let me first start drawing that XY plane. And guys, if I look at my XY plane, this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, and if I have to identify negative 90 degrees, keep in mind when we have a negative angle, then we are basically measuring angles in a clockwise direction, and we always measure the angle with this as the reference side. So if I measure my angle negative 90 degrees from this as a reference side and in a clockwise direction, then it is going to be lying on this axis, this one right here, this vertical axis, right? So guys, this is my negative y, this is my negative x on this side. So negative 90, we can take any point on this vertical axis right here below x-axis. Guys, for convenience purposes, I'm going to choose a point which is going to be easy for us to work with. You can choose any point you like, but guys, I'm going to choose a point which is going to be easier for me. I'm going to choose a point for which the radius is going to be 1. It's easy to work with that. So let me take this point, or let me choose this point for which this angle we know is negative 90 degrees. Guys, you can take any point, because if you take any point, it's still going to be on this axis and the angle is still going to be negative 90 degrees. But for convenience purposes, I'm using a point for which the radius is 1. That means it is 1 unit away from the origin. So guys, if this is 1 unit away from the origin, so in other words, if I have to write the coordinates of this point, obviously the x coordinate is going to be 0 and the corresponding y coordinate, and it is not too difficult to figure out the corresponding y coordinate once we said that thing that the radius is 1. Guys, it's going to be negative 1, because it is in the negative side, negative y direction, so it's going to be negative y. So what does that mean? That means my x is 0, my y is negative 1, and we're assuming that the radius is 1. Guys, if you if you cannot see why the radius is 1, it's not too difficult to see that, because this is the radius is basically how far that is from the origin, and it is 1 unit from the origin. In this case, it also overlaps with what is the y coordinate, right? Guys, these are special cases, and I actually took this opportunity to actually show you the special cases, because these are the special cases, both of them are special cases where the actual point lies on the, or the angles that we're dealing with are the angles that are on the axis, whether it's this axis or the other axis, but they're going to lie on the axis, okay? So they're slightly unique, but they're still easy to work with. Guys, I have x, y, and r, and once I identify x and y, I can also find r, because we know r squared is x squared plus y squared, right? So in any case, I have my x, I have my y, and I have my r. Now, how can I write the sine of a negative 90 degrees? Guys, we have the nice definition. Sine is the ratio of the y over r. We already know that, right? So what is the y value? Y value is negative 1 and r is positive 1. So negative 1 divided by 1 is negative 1. So sine of negative 90 is negative 1. That is the answer for the first part. Similarly, if I have to do the